If you know someone who's having a reaching out to talk and listen. To learn more about how you can help someone in need, call the Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 800-273-TALK. Brought to you by the state of Washington.
Rainier Avenue Radio presents All Music, All Day Saturday. Music, all day Saturday.
This is Edwin Bailey, Bulldog Blue.
Jazz from the Cabinets.
That's right. It's time once again for Jazz from the Cabinets with Big Poppy.
Start time.
Thanks for tuning in. My name is Paul Pierce. This is Start Time.
Saturdays, all music, all day. Reggae Hour, K-Fox Night.
Looking for the perfect beat? Yeah, it's the beat of the box.
Fresh Juice with D-Money in the group.
Myself, D-Money.
Honey Size Patron.
Taylor Hart.
This is Cynthia, the Northwest Rap Gang.
DJ Medina, Chad Cheddar, Northwest Rat Gang.
Sergio Lacour's Love Line.
It's Sergio's Love Lines with Sergio LaCour. Going to the phone lines. Hello, who we talking?
Sea Monster Radio, Mo Jams is your jam.
We're live. Welcome to Mojo Mondays. This is KZ and KZ Music Media. Caller Goddess for Mojo Mondays.
Just my God is inspiration all day and all night. Saturdays on RainierAvenueRadio.org.
On Saturday, February 27th, Seattle Local Learning Center, a nonprofit, A for Apple Learning Center, will spread the warmth by giving away new winter coats and books to children. We know that warmth is created in more than one way. A warm coat brings physical warmth, the gift of community brings warmth to our spirit, and the knowledge that someone cares brings warmth to the heart. A for Apple Learning Center has served the community for over 25 years and is dedicated to supporting and connecting families to essential resources in our community.
Sunday nights from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's K-Fox Night Beat with DJ Nastiness.
Bringing back the memories.
Bringing back the memories.
Bringing Seattle's hottest music.
Bringing Seattle's hottest music. RainierAvenueRadio.world.
This is your Rainier Avenue Radio.world community update on online Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. If you're looking for an AA meeting, find one every day online at aaphonemeetings.org. That's aaphonemeetings.org.
You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Yes, indeed. Say it loud. We are Black and we're proud. Here in Black History Month, I'm Dupe. Welcome you to another Monday Night Sports right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. And last week you heard Edwin and I, we were talking. We were so happy to have from the Seattle Times, Bob Condota, and had a great conversation. He talked a little bit about the Seahawks and kind of what they're looking at. I want to touch base on a few things that he said. Also want to focus on, and if you want to join in the conversation today, we'll welcome a call or two maybe. Give us a yell. You can also, you can watch us on the Rainier Avenue Radio app, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Obviously, you can listen in on our website or also TuneIn app and smart speakers, all that stuff. So check us out and then Facebook Live. But a couple of things I want to focus on. One is I want to revisit just real quickly looking at some of the NFL free agents. Bob talked about last week, a couple of areas the Seahawks need to look: receiver, tight end. So let's see what's out there. Edwin and I have shared with you for the last few weeks that we think the Seahawks really need to be looking at how do they shore up that offensive line. I want to talk a little bit more about that. And I don't want to beat this into the ground, but I think it's important to look at Russell Wilson's comments and look at, over his career, how many times he's been sacked and pressured and what have you. It's a startling number when you think about it. So we talked about it last week, but I want to highlight it again. But I want to get into athletes making comments, and is it a bad thing? Russell Wilson voiced his concerns, and man, we need to shore up the offensive line, and people are coming out, oh, he should have said that. It's going to create havoc. And Edwin, it was interesting. I asked the big guys, you've been there, you're offensive lineman. Don't you know if you're not doing your job? Don't you know if you guys need to improve and shouldn't you take responsibility? And he agreed. He said, yeah. So it'd be interesting. And I want to liken that to some comments that Draymond Green recently made about a week ago. And he is, under fire for making, comments. But I think the reality is this: the league's going to have it their way, but there is this double standard when players speak out. And when you look at free agency and all that, so I want to talk a little bit about that. But before we get into all that, a couple of quick things I want to remind you. You heard it leading into the show, but also really important. What's up, the big fella, Edwin Bailey, Seahawks legend.
You were right, Rick. You're very right.
How's that? I was right.
Hey, man. Hey, the guy should speak his mind. He's back there.
Come on.
You know?
Yeah.
And he's taking them hits.
And hey, and I want to get into that in just a minute because I want you to kind of talk about again from a standpoint of you taking responsibility. Again, a professional knows whether he's doing his job or not. And if I'm not doing my job, and then someone calls me out on it, why should I get upset? I got to take responsibility, man.
Step up.
Man, come on, So real quickly, let me just throw this out for our listeners so they are kind of aware. You guys heard that, but I just want to pump it up. This is our last week of Black History Month programming. We've had a ton of great programs going on, and tomorrow night, Conversations in Black by Tina on Tech, and so she's got talking about the Black digital divide and a couple of great guests on there. Also tomorrow night, 8:00, the Chicago Steppin' by Styles of Steppin'. That's going to be happening, a dance exhibition, live at the Columbia City Theater. So you want to make sure to get there. And love the partnership that Rainier Avenue Radio that we're creating there at Columbia City Theater. So get out. And then Wednesday night, Benjamin Hunter Live, a music performance that will be again at the historic Columbia City Theater. Make sure to get out there and check it out. Thursday, Here and Now with John Yasutaki. He'll have James Hasty. Yes, Seattle's own James Hasty, who had a great NFL career, a small business owner, and they'll talk a little bit about James's life journey, but then also a discussion on hate groups and the like. And then Friday, workshops on racial equity in the Seattle film industry, and the guest is Virginia Bogart and Curtis Ellerson and Cleveland, I hope I pronounced right, Cleveland or Cleveland, Tyson, and they'll be talking a little bit about that. Also Friday, film night, filmmaker Anthony Tackett and his short film, Malik is a short film about police harassment in the Black June, a documentary about the uprisings following the George Floyd murder. And then Saturday, we kind of wrap things up again at the historic Columbia City Theater with a live music performance. So make sure to keep it right here on Rainier Avenue Radio for all of that coming up. Also, stay tuned because immediately following us is a Lid Line with Granville, Pepe, and the team. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Anyway, with all that said, Edwin, again, I just want to get your perspective. 11 years in the NFL, offensive lineman. It's about taking responsibility. If you aren't protecting your guy, I mean, does he have a right to speak up and say, hey, wait a minute, we need to and make a statement to management? And I think we look at Russell Wilson's career, and he's always been the company guy, said the right thing and what have you. And he didn't go out and just, talk all negatively, but he was telling the truth.
Well, he didn't individually pick out anybody. It's the offensive line as a group.
Yeah.
And somebody should have stepped up and said he was right. I played in a game where Derek Thomas got 7 sacks.
Good Lord. Yeah.
Right? And we won that game. It's still one of the most embarrassing situations of my football career. But then again, as I tell a couple of offensive linemen, who's the best defensive player that's gotten a sack on you?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody sit back and look. Well, I said, okay, well, Derek Thomas, Hall of Famer, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
And when it come back, and what killed him at the end was the pass, the sack he didn't make.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, the kid has every right. Because remember now, Seahawks ain't never won a Super Bowl till he got here.
Hello.
And at that position is one of the players who called me tonight to tell me he loved me, so I could tell him I love him back, was Dave Craig.
Yes, sir.
And me and him had a blow up right before the Dallas Cowboy game on Thanksgiving. But it was out of love.
Mm-hmm.
Because he knew that I could have gave him something better than I was giving him.
So he pushed you. He called you on it, huh?
He called me on it.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's a leader, Edwin. That's a leader.
Hey, man. Yeah. He's telling the offensive lineman to get off your ass and get the job done.
Hello.
Excuse my expression.
No, hey, but
if they can't handle that, they need to go back to college and play football.
Man, if they can't handle that, they need to go play semi-pro somewhere. Because come on. I mean, it's about personal ownership. So listen to this, Edwin. We talked a little bit, and I appreciate you saying that because I want people to hear your perspective. You've been in that position 11 years, and a guy who, again, in the South Carolina Hall of Fame, South Carolina State, University Hall of Fame, and what have you. And you said something last week that I want to repeat. And that just mainly you talked about, the leadership, that veteran leadership, and someone's got to say, and I think you hit the nail on the head. Someone needs to back up Russell Wilson and say, hey, he's right. And whether they're doing it publicly, I mean, it would be nice to get it publicly, but at least within that organization, because and I was looking at this, it's a headline, kind of Fan Nation, the Seahawk Maven. It says, thrown under the bus by Russell Wilson, Seahawks offensive line deserves to take issue with their quarterback. Come on, man. I mean, come on. Where is, at what point does personal responsibility and accountability come into play, man?
Ain't nobody got thrown under the bus. He want to stay clean.
Man.
Yeah. He want to stay clean.
Yeah.
Then if he was some other quarterback, if he was any of them other quarterbacks, they would have had an issue with it.
Yeah.
But hey, everything that's going on in society is going on.
Yeah. And as we take a look at some of the highlights, and I want to go back and just remind some people, and then I want to take this, Edwin, to kind of players speak in their mind, and I want to get your take on it. I want to listen to some comments from Draymond Green because, again, I think there's a double standard, like he said. But real quickly, I want to remind people. So Russell Wilson has been sacked 394 times in 144 regular season games. Okay, listen to this. That's the most in a player's first 9 seasons that he's been sacked in since 1970 when the AFL and the NFL merger happened. Randall Cunningham is next at 366.
And Dave Craig in there somewhere.
So Randall Cunningham is almost 30 sacks behind Russell Wilson. Okay, then now he was sacked 47 times this season. Okay, that was the third most in the NFL. Okay, so I think he's got something, he's got reason to say, hey, we need to take a look at this. The third most in the NFL. How many teams in the NFL? 32 is it?
Yeah.
And the third most. Okay, so, and that was Carson Wentz was sacked 50 times and Deshaun Watson 49 times. So he was only 3 behind the leader in the league. And Carson Wentz, he can't move like Russell. Okay, now he was sacked 5 more times and pressured 50% of his dropbacks when they lost to the Rams in the playoffs. I mean, come on, man. It's just at what point, do you say, hey, we need to think about this and not berate him for talking about he threw them under the bus. Hey, man, come on. They throwing him under the bus. They throwing him under the defense, man. He's getting killed all the time.
Well, did he take him out? Did he take him out for the quarterback dinner?
Come on. Is he taking care of his guys?
Hey.
And here's one other thing. Here's one other thing I wanted to mention. Okay, so Brett Favre has been sacked the most times of any quarterback in the NFL history, 525 times. But Edwin, that's during a 20-year career. Russell Wilson, if he stays on pace like he has his first 9 seasons, he will surpass that in 2 years.
Wow.
So it took Favre 20 seasons to get there. It'll take Russell Wilson 11 if he stays at the pace. I mean, he's gonna Russell Wilson say he wants to play until he's 40 something. He's gonna surpass that. He's gonna be the most sacked quarterback in NFL history. Yeah, I mean, regardless, even if they shore it up and he is one of the least sacked, for the remainder of his career, he is still going to surpass that. So again. I share all that because, man, I think that you gotta take his comments, in perspective. And again, he didn't throw anybody under the bus, like you said. He didn't cite any individual. But at the end of the day, man, I need some protection.
Hey, how many sacks does he have?
390. What is 300? And I'm going to go back up here. Yeah, 394 in 144 regular season games. So that's not even counting, the playoffs. If I'm reading this correctly, it says Wilson been sacked 394 times, 144 regular season games.
Hey, they better not say no more about me in the sacks. Dave Craig's 7 sacks. So Dave Craig only had for the Seahawks. Dave Craig only had 341 sacks.
And how long was his career? It was more than 9 years.
Well, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 years.
Yeah. So, but again, I look at, people say, well, there was improvement. Yeah, there at times this line was highly improved, and had some great games. But overall, again, he was sacked the 3rd most in the NFL this year. So anyway, and I bring all this up, Edwin, because again, it's talking about, players, voicing their opinion, and people say, well, you need to do it privately. It doesn't. Well, at some point, I mean, it's been 9 years. This guy's frustrated, and for the team and for people to say, oh, he's throwing them under the bus, for the team to say, well, this surprised us and what have you. Yeah, he's been the company guy, but guess what? He understands his value, and he understands that he's got a voice. And let's see if that, and fine, okay, I pissed you off, but guess what? Get your butt out there and block.
Oh,
do what you're supposed to do. Hey. And if you do that, we're gonna win because I can take you to the Super Bowl.
Hey,
I already proven that.
Rick, look, man, as I tell him, and I'm proud of it. Didn't give up a sack in high school. Didn't give up a sack in college.
Mm-hmm.
Then I gave up like 3 to Gary Big Hands Johnson. Like, first time I ran into an NFL quality defensive lineman.
Yeah.
And every time they show the life and times of Derek Thomas, they go, oh man, oh, you was a part of that. Yep, I think I gave up. If you see it, I think I gave up the 5th sack. And it was 7. But then again, I found out after the game that they recognized his father before the game. So he had some fuel.
Yeah, he has some extra motivation, huh?
Yeah, he has some motivation. But he went and got 7 sacks, but we won the game. Like the coach from the Eagles said, you play to win the game.
Yeah. But I appreciate, Edwin, I appreciate the fact you said, yeah, we won the game, but you weren't happy with the way you played because you can't let your quarterback get hit like that.
Hey, man, Rick, I didn't give up a whole lot of sacks, and then again, my quarterbacks. My quarterback is Dave Craig.
Yeah.
He's all pro and he's a Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
And as quiet as it kept, coming from Milton College, he should be a Hall of Famer. He played 20 years.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. We need to get him on him. You and I talk. You need to call him. Get him on. We can get him on. We'll talk.
Hey, man, Rick, I told you, he called me today, give me a hard time, just to tell me he loved me. So we in there acting like 2 schoolgirls on the phone.
Well, tell him you express some of that love on Monday Night Sports.
I will give him a call as soon as we get off.
Yeah, there he is. Is that Brian Blaze? 89?
Brian Blaze.
Woo, that's back in the day, baby. Oh, Daniel B, look at you. He pulling it out. Come on.
Tell Daniel I'm gonna dance at his wedding.
Where's 65? Where's 65 on that offensive line?
I was picking up on the edge to the left.
Yeah. Is that who's that? 80? Is that 81?
That's
that Turner? No.
That's a man out of Syracuse.
Who was that? I'm trying to remember.
Tommy Kane.
Okay. Oh, I remember him. Yeah. That Dave Craig, is that when he was in KC?
Yes, sir, bro.
Yeah.
All the way from Milton College.
Yeah. So, again, I think, I appreciate your comments, all kidding aside, and just about personal responsibility. And I brought all of that up to just talk about, players need to be able to, and there's this double standard. And I want to play in just a minute, Daniel, let's play the Draymond Green video. I'll tell you in just a second. But I want you to listen to what Draymond says, because he talks about this double standard. And it's for real. Teams have all this control. And I'm happy, I like the fact that there's free agency, that players have more control. The work, from Kurt Flood on, they open the door for players to have more say so in what happened. People get on LeBron James. Guess what, man? He's earned it. He's earned the fact. This team, the franchise don't care about the player. If they can get somebody who they think will be as productive as you are, but they're younger and they don't have to pay them as much, guess what? You out the door. That's the bottom line. There ain't no loyalty.
Basta los amigos.
Yeah, man, exactly. So don't get obsessed. The player needs to be committed to. No, this is a business, not a business. A business. No.
Yes,
but all kidding aside, it's a business.
Yes,
and I got to look out for myself, because and part of my grammar, the team ain't looking out for me.
Yes, sir.
I'm only as valuable as I can be productive for them. If they can get somebody younger, cheaper, they gonna do it.
You're only as good as your last play, Rick.
There it is. And in football in particular, that last play could be any play. Because I always tell people, I said, football is not a matter of if you're going to get injured, it's when. Because you're going to get hit. You're going to get hurt.
Yes,
the game is just, that's just the reality. Real quick, let's listen to, Edwin, I want you to listen to these comments by Draymond Green. And then let's talk about just kind of what he's saying, because I think he hits the nail on the head. Go ahead, Dan. Go ahead and play that clip if you would.
I would like to talk about something that's really bothering me, and it's the treatment of players in this league. To watch Andre Drummond before the game sit on the sideline, then go to the back, and then come out in street clothes because a team is going to trade him is bull. Because when James Harden asked for a trade and essentially dogged it, I don't think there was no surprise or there's no one's going to fight back that James was dogging it his last days in Houston. But he was castrated for wanting to go to a different team, and everybody destroyed that man. And yet a team can come out and say, we want to trade a guy, and then that guy is to go sit. And if he doesn't stay professional, then he's a cancer, and he's not good in someone's locker room, and he's the issue. And we've seen situations of Harrison Barnes getting pulled off the bench. DeMarcus Cousins finding out that he's traded in an interview after the All-Star game. And we continue to let this happen. But I got fined for stating my opinion of what I thought should happen with another player. But teams can come out and continue to say, we're trading guys, we're not playing you. And yet we're to stay professional. At some point, as players, we need to be treated with the same respect and have the same rights that the team can have. Because as a player, you're the worst person in the world when you want a different situation. But a team can say they're trading you, and that man is to stay in shape. He is to stay professional. And if not, his career is on the line. At some point, this league has to protect the players from embarrassment like that. We talk all of this stuff about you can't do this, you can't say that publicly. If you say that publicly, you're fine. Anthony Davis got fined, I think, $100,000 or something like that for demanding a trade publicly. But you can say Andre Drummond is getting traded publicly, and we're looking to trade him publicly, and he's to stay professional and just deal with it. But then when Kyrie Irving say, my mental health is off, everybody go crazy about that too. Do you not think that affects someone mentally? As much as we put into this game to be great, to come out here and be in shape, to produce for fans every single night, and most importantly, to help your team win, do you think that doesn't affect someone mentally? But as players, we're told to, no, you can't say that, you can't say this, but teams can. It goes along the same lines of when everyone wants to say, man, that young guy can't figure it out. But no one wants to say the organization can't figure it out. At some point, the players must be respected in these situations, and it's ridiculous, and I'm sick of seeing it. Y'all have a great night. I'll see y'all tomorrow or Wednesday.
And Edwin, you were singing it. Hey, let the church
Thanks for
sing.
watching ESPN on YouTube for live streaming.
Man, come on. I mean, did he hit the nail on the head or what?
Hey, Rick, the one thing society's going to have to get ready for. They prepared these young men to be out smoking. He's not going back. He hadn't bitten his tongue since he's been in the league.
No.
He's giving you first-class performances on the basketball court.
Yeah. He brings it night in and night out.
He's won championships.
Yeah.
He carries himself in a very good manner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I ain't got nothing to say. He's absolutely right. You can't have it both ways now.
Right. No doubt. And I just think that we, I wanted to point this out, and I appreciate your perspective because you've been there. But as he said, man, there's this double standard, and franchises, teams can say whatever they want to say, and there's they're being professional. But when a player speaks up, when a player voices his concern or whatever, and he's right, they are busting their rear. We got about 3-4 minutes left. I want to take a real quick look at the. I said we're going to do this, and we did in the list of free agents. But I just think that this can be a continuing conversation to a certain degree. But I'd love to get the perspective of a few people in the media and some athletes. But I just think people got to set their feelings aside and stop taking stuff personally. And take a look in the mirror, man. If I'm not getting the job done, then if someone says, "Hey, Rick, you're not getting the job done," I can't get upset. And these franchises, again, there is this double standard, and these players, like I said, I'm so happy for free agency and what have you. These players have more control, and they deserve it. And people say, "Oh, they get paid millions and what have you." You know what? They're still people. They're still dealing with the issues, everyday issues that we got to deal with, but yet they got to perform night in and night out in front of millions of people, and they're expected to bring it. They have a bad game. Somebody said, "Well, what's he not putting it all out on the floor?" Come on, man. Hey, do you not have a bad day at work sometimes?
Well, hey, Rick, my thing is this, and I'm a firm believer in this. Go out there and get dressed and come on out here and let me see what you can do.
Hello.
All right, hey, they can call me out. Hey, give me a book, a pencil, and a pad, and give me 15 or 20. Mm-hmm. I will get in front of the classroom. Yeah, I'm willing to accept any challenge that you're willing to put forth in front of me. But let me see you play left guard, sir. Yeah, talk to me, man. You hit the nail on the head. Make sure that it ain't gonna be easy now. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna drop you in a blender. Yeah. So I mean, it's crazy. Athletics now, everybody's got an opinion, but ain't nobody can play. Oh, come on, yeah. I'm a firm believer. I don't even talk to you about it. Well, what do you think? You wouldn't understand. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, not everybody can play. Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. What does that tell you right there? Yeah, what does that tell you? I know everybody can't play. Yeah. And we only got a couple minutes left. I know you were going to do a little bit of research. I don't know if you had anybody you want to highlight, but I think the biggest thing is we talked about Seahawks, and you and I have said offensive line, defensive line. Appreciate Bob Condotta last week, and he talked about receiver. And I was looking up, and one of the top guys, Dak Prescott at 28 is a free agent, but Chris Godwin, wide receiver out of Tampa Bay, only 25, has been very productive. Allen Robinson in Chicago, only 28. Another receiver. You got Kenny Golladay. You got Will Fuller. Both those guys are 27 years old. So there's in the top 10, 4 receivers right there. And then you got some defensive line. You got Trent Williams, offensive tackle out of San Francisco. He's 33. He's a little older. Yeah, but he still got some game in him. Yeah. So you've got some people. Taylor Moton out of Carolina, only 27, offensive tackle. So there's some guys out there. Juju Smith-Schuster is out there, only 24. 24. Tight end. You got Hunter Henry out of LA, the Chargers. He's only 26. So there's some talent out there that the Seahawks could certainly be looking at. We're running out of time. We don't have time to go down the list, but maybe we get somebody on and we can talk a little bit more about some of the free agents. And Bob talked about last week that, the Seahawks do not have, they're probably not going to get much out of the draft because they traded away. And I think rightfully so for Jamal Adams and what have you, and some of the picks, first round picks that they had. So they're limited there. We are out of time, man. 30 minutes is 27. Too quick, man. We having a good conversation. Yes, sir. We got to talk to Tony B about this. Yeah. Well, the other thing I want to just tease real quickly. I know we got to go, Daniel. Give me 30 seconds, and that is, and thanks to Paul Schneiderman, put us in contact with Kenny Anderson. Remember the
Kenny Anderson out of Georgia Tech, great basketball player. Kenny Anderson is a coach at Fisk University of Nashville, HBCU. But Kenny had a stroke. Actually almost killed him, and he is back. And Schneiderman got us in contact with him. So I hope we can get him lined up next week. If not, we will have him in the coming weeks. You don't want to miss that. That's going to be a great one. And just Edwin, a reminder to all of our listeners, stay tuned, keep it right here, because Lidline is following us. For the big guy, the Seahawk legend, Edwin Bailey,
Rick.
Daniel B. I'm Dupe. Until next week, man. Peace.
Great job, Daniel. Great job, Daniel.
Rainier Avenue Radio .world, breaking radio boundaries.